good. No.
There's only 2 female Smurfs, and it happened like that because they can only be born every 30 years, and that the villain created the females.
Not every 30 years, Gelgamore?
Yeah.
Gelgamore actually created Smurfette, and then the other Smurfs made Sassette.
Gargamel.
There you go. Gargamel made Sassette. So these female Smurfs are actually created by magic. So who knows what their breeding process?
Regular Smurfs.
Maybe they're asexual. Yeah.
All of them.
He's the one Smurf to make them all.
The one Smurf to make them all.
To make them
For them to
all.
have a female, like, just biologically.
I mean, they could be like plants.
Yeah,
you know?
the Smurfs are in Middle Earth, by the way.
That makes total sense.
Makes total sense. Gargamel's he's just got his castle and he's just, like, where does Gargamel get all that money? Like, why does he have a castle?
He looks like a...
I think love potions.
Potions?
He sells love potions, man.
Right. Oh, you know what? He gave a love potion to a rich queen that was a cougar when he was young, and then he outlived her and inherited her castle.
But he's not living in a castle. He lives in like a little shack down by the Smurf land.
Right, that's one hell of a love potion.
Yeah.
Man, I feel like I haven't watched the Smurfs.
This whole podcast is just about how the Smurfs.
We're just talking about the Smurfs.
Yeah, that's all.
The artistic angle of the Smurfs.
I like it.
Three, 2. Stephanie, come in for the 1. What's up, everybody? This is the Artists in Depth podcast. Back in the studio again with us. We got Mel Mo Black, but this time talk about her tattoo artistry. What's up, Mel?
Hey.
And then we got Julian Reyes the third.
What's up?
Is that correct?
That's correct.
Do you focus on piercing or do you tattoos as well?
I do mostly piercing right now. Tattooing is a love and a passion that I would like to pursue. Definitely something I want to do down the line. But right now, piercing is a big factor for me in being in the tattoo and piercing industry, honestly. So
awesome.
I like it. It's good stuff.
Well, I mean, that's an art form on its own, man. That's a thing that can get fucked up and really hurt somebody if you're not paying attention to what you're doing.
Definitely important for you to have confidence in what you're going to do and take the time to learn what you're going to do and how you're going to do it. Just like anything that you want to pursue, if you're going to do it, be serious about it.
Especially, body altering things.
Oh man, people bleed on me, so you got to be ready for that and making sure you can make people comfortable about it one way or another. But I mean, that's part of our industry, right, Mel? Is just having to make sure you can do the safest thing for people and make sure they enjoy it.
Yep.
So what? So you guys work at the same shop?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So what shop are y'all representing?
Striga Art Parlor.
We've been open about a year on the island now.
Okay.
Most of our artists, though, of course, like Mel, we've been around for at least 5 or 6 years at this point in time, right?
Yeah. That's me. Oh, yeah, I've been tattooing for 6 years.
Yeah, I've been piercing for about 6 years. Actually, second shop I've ever worked at was at another shop here on the island with Mel.
Yeah, and actually with the guy who owns Striga and one of our other artists. It's kind of cool, little reuniting.
Okay, it's basically like a season 2 of the same show.
Yeah.
In a certain way.
It's fun,
Just
you know,
carries on.
and when we worked together before, everybody had talked about it for so long, like, oh, we're going to go, open up the shop and we can all just go work together. But of course, everybody goes their separate ways and life goes on, and then it actually happened, so it was like really weird.
We were
like, oh, it's actually happened. This is fucking weird. What's up, dude?
It was super exciting to have Mel back and Zach back, and being with CK and everyone was actually been really fucking fun.
Right? It makes it way easier when you already have a rapport with people you work with and they already respect you and there's like this relationship there.
Yeah. There's not that barrier.
Easy. Yeah, and you're not intimidated, because we hired on some junior artists and stuff and they were just like pretty scared for a while.
Yeah,
just like everyone.
Well, it's very intimidating, especially like when you're doing something like I was saying, like body altering or permanent, and like when you're around like artists that have been doing it for a while, because there's a big respect thing that goes into tattooing and piercing, especially with how artists personally respect it. Like if you see a tattooer that's doing it lazily or slackily, and they just don't care, or they're just being ridiculous, or they're saying they do more than they really do, and you're like, hey, bro, shut up, like. Quit flexing something you don't know. There's something I'm out here doing every day. Like that's a huge thing. Not me personally. Maybe one day.
It's big in tattooing, I think, and I don't know if you're not on top of your game, then you're gonna be left behind, and that's with like just kind of this industry. It's really progressive, so it's like if you're not constantly trying, then you're gonna fall off, and you're only as good as your last tattoo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like you do a handful of shitty tattoos, all of a sudden you don't have any more clients. You know?
Absolutely.
I think it's super important too that like in this industry, as far as I've seen stuff like that, is artists are willing to, especially if they care about you or around you, are going to call you out and be like, do better, try and be better or whatever. And like I think,
and that's really touchy because tattooers got motherfucking ego, man.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
people get sensitive.
It's
about
like
stuff.
important to practice being humble. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I don't think anybody's like naturally super humble, but you should practice it, and I think that's important in tattooing. You know.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
there's totally a lot of people with, just big egos with anything, any part of it. You know.
I actually can respect a lot of the integrity I've seen in tattoo artists, like with Chuck Jones, for example. Shout out Chuck. But
Shout out Chuck, we love you.
What up, Chuck? Love you.
Dude, he cracks me up because if there's something he just really doesn't want to do because he doesn't think it's a style or something, he's just like, no. And
just shuts it down.
but I'll give you this X amount of dollars. He's just like, no,
It's like not about the
I
money.
don't want to do it. Yeah, because he really takes pride when he does. I actually got some of his stuff up on the wall over there.
Ooh.
It's super cool. I was actually thinking about getting that robot on my thigh, the one on the left there.
Yeah,
Do
it's
it.
Cool.
With some different flag because I like that chrome, man. Because he does it without any like metallic colors.
Yeah, it's cool. It's like kind of like an old school way of doing it. It's really a classic, I think.
Well, it's all kind of mixed. It's just like it's got like modern, kind of like lowbrow with like some like kind of Japanese looking flash to it. Like
Yeah,
I don't know.
totally.
And that tattoo should stand time pretty well too, as compared to a lot of like the trend tattoos people will be getting sometimes. Don't you think, Mel? Like watercolor stuff tends to fade pretty easy, and stuff
Yeah.
like that bold will stay pretty easy for the most
Bold will
part.
hold. That's
Yeah.
what everybody always says. Bold will hold. Big line work will hold. It's
Mo
like,
Black.
Yeah, right. Black.
Mo Black.
Mo
Need
Black.
black and all your stuff. Yeah, watercolor stuff. And it's even touchy it's all an opinion, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I feel like all these old school guys and all these people who have done this before, they'll all tell us, you know what I mean? It won't hold. But then you have these newer tattooers who are doing it, and everybody's just like, oh, but my shit sticks. My watercolor
My shit would
doesn't
never fade.
fade. It stays for, I saw a tattoo I did 4 years ago that stays. And it's like, cool, it lasted 4 years. Awesome. But will it last till that person's like, I don't know, lucky enough to be old? Probably not.
Or like what happens when they go to Ibiza to party for a summer and they get like a hella
sunburn, and that shit's just gone.
Yeah, it just comes back. Yeah, I mean that's what I was scared about. So whenever I first this was my first tattoo on my right arm or my left arm from Reyes Yuri. She did my dad's tattoos. Visker, shout out.
It's
Visker.
totally like
Yeah.
her own thing for sure.
Yeah, no, but it's like, but her black lines are like so ridiculously thick. This is my first tattoo. I got the black line done when I was like 18.
How long ago did you get that? Oh, so how long ago would you say that was?
That was 2014.
2014. So
Yeah,
about
I'm a youngin'.
5 years there.
Yeah.
And it looks great.
Yeah, man,
Yeah,
that's
dude, and
standing time.
this arm's been sunburnt, and actually I lost some of the color up here on the face. I got road rash on it, and I thought it was gonna be.
Oh my god, I got road rash once, and the first thing they said that I was asking about, it's like, were all my tattoos okay? You know,
yeah.
real
Well,
shit.
that's what I was worried about because I got so the first time I put some gauze on it. And I left it on too long, so it dried.
Oh, yeah,
So I had to
but-
take it off. But when I took it off, I put water on it and took it off. Like where all like the plasma and hemoglobin or whatever is, it was just my tattoo, just color.
Oh man,
Like it was color, like it came
Damn,
right out,
dude.
and I was like, holy! Like I didn't know it could just come
Wowzer.
out of the skin like that.
it'll push
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, and then
It never. It's
yeah.
always liquid under there. It never dries or anything. It stays fluid underneath the skin.
That
That's why
is
when it's
gnarly.
like tattoos don't fade away, they are like basically running away from itself. It's spreading like this. Mm-hmm. That's why it's like black lines are important because it blocks it in on a molecular, almost
It's like
molecularly. Black
barriers,
molecules
gives it
are
like a-
large and they move really slow.
gives it a track to stay on. So
like
it's
small, like colored pigment is small and moves very fast, so it's always like running away. So that's why it's like, watercolor is really cool and it might last a little bit, but like eventually it'll be gone, or it won't be what it is. It won't hold its integrity. It won't look as cool.
I've noticed that with my like light colors, like when I do like custom shoes. Whenever I use like a really bright blue, like a baby blue or like a yellow or something, and close to a black, and then I saturate the ink too much, it just just rips it.
Starts
Like
pulling.
other colors won't do it, even when I do it on paper. But like yellow specifically, like if we're using Sharpies, if you go yellow over the black, it'll just pull that black out like crazy. And it's very impressive. But just seeing how the different colors and the different chemicals within the colors change.
Well, I think that's an important thing about like the fact of tattooing. It is as much of a modification as an art form, because like a lot of the things you do in art can be translated to skin if known how to do correctly one way or another. So I mean, having good basics in anything, like especially with tattooing. I mean, the biggest thing I've known from just seeing tattoos in my like lifespan in there and being interested in that is the more traditional stuff will last you longer just because it's simplified and done well, but you're not going to get a lot of that reaction like you would from some of like this really cool photorealism stuff that'll like fade away real quickly sometimes. But again, like everybody's skin is so different.
Yeah.
The way you treat your skin afterwards is so different, and it's always going to affect everything you do on your artwork. The biggest thing you can look at is the consistency of your artist and the consistency of like your own body reacting to like what's going on.
It's like a real pretty scar. You gotta take care of it.
I got to do the same thing whenever I do piercing. Like I got to take into account like how people's bodies react to if they've been pierced before. Melanin can affect it as well. The collagen in your skin can affect how it's going to affect them. Everything that affects me in piercing can also affect the same thing in tattooing. But I was going to say, like, though, what's everybody's first tattoo? We had this conversation.
I've been asking everybody at the shop what their first tattoo is because, you know, everybody there's super tattooed.
Yeah.
And they're in the business, so they learn a lot, but everybody's got goofy, generic shit as their first one, you know?
At least somewhere.
Huh? Yeah.
Like at least somewhere they got one.
Tribal, like, you know.
What was your first tattoo, Mel?
With just the Texas inside of it. Somebody
some
had
barbed
like
wire around the
somebody had a
arm.
misspelled word with like a skull, you know.
What was your first tattoo, Mel?
It was a star on my arm that got covered up with another star that then got covered up with this scene on my arm.
It's like a 50s diner.
Yeah.
And it
it's
says
cool now.
Does it say Mel's Diner?
Mel's Drive-In.
Mel's Drive-In.
Yeah, it's cool.
Sick.
It's got like aliens, little like 50s kind of inspired alien invasion feel, like a jukebox.
Very like
and
War of
stuff.
the Worlds.
Yeah.
That's rad.
So that was my first one. Double cover up. This is why you don't get tattooed when you're 16 years old.
Shout out everybody 16 years old maybe.
Yeah, you got bad
Hey,
ideas.
shout out to that guy who's in the kitchen right now getting worked on by his buddy who would do it for like $50 less than everybody else.
Doing
I mean,
that star that you think that you really want on your forearm, you know?
Like just wait
No
till you
regrets.
just wait till you get a solid artist, because like a real solid artist is definitely going to have the integrity to say like, no, you need to wait 2 years, motherfucker. Like,
Oh yeah, when you're like a young person.
yeah. I mean, so what's actually the what's actually the law on that?
18 in Texas. Even if you have the consent of your guardian, you cannot
Yeah,
get
it's still
tattooed.
18.
Well,
A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people think it's 16, and every state is different, but the majority is 18, which I think is great.
What's the kind of penalty on that?
We lose our license and can't work in the same state that we
Yeah,
are
you
in.
might even get arrested because
There's
you're
a
fucking with a
huge-
minor, you know what I mean?
A huge
that's
fine
like
as well.
minor law.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn. It doesn't give you a blue dot or anything, does it? Like
You
on the
don't
map?
know. And like think about this shit, okay? I worked with Tattoo Rob, right? And
Yeah.
he was I really appreciate that he was such a hard ass to people who would come in and they just want anything, you know what I mean? And they expect it from you. When you tell them no, they get pissed, but it's like he's looking out for not only his own ass, but like you guys too. But this lady came in with her like 16, 17-year-old daughter, wanted to get her nipples pierced.
Yep.
And it's like he was just like,
Okay.
he was laughing. He would always laugh at people in the face. Totally shitty, but, you know, that's just who he was. And he was just like, fuck you. I'm not going to catch a charge for this. You know what I mean? Nobody
Total.
thinks about
No,
it.
dude,
They
that-
think
that-
about it as like this fun thing, but it's like, there's so many layers to the
Total.
onion, you know?
Total
Dude,
respect.
that's got sex offender charge all over it.
Yeah, he was just like,
Yeah.
ha ha. He was always so dramatic, just like, ha ha ha.
He's like, you're a fucking idiot for
just
coming here and
laughing
asking me
so
that.
much.
Shout out to Tattoo Rob.
Yeah, shout out to you, Rob. I love you.
He's definitely someone I've always respected on the island as a
Yeah,
piercer.
he pierced and tattooed on here for a long time. He just retired, which is pretty awesome, I think.
He would send me work that he wasn't comfortable doing with, and I totally agree with him on that stand. I've had people come up to me to get their daughter's nipples pierced. I even question the tongue most of the time. Like,
Yeah.
that's still kind of one of those things. But I've even had fathers come in with their daughters and be like, oh, she wants to get her vagina pierced.
Yeah, people do
Like,
crazy
the
shit.
strangest things. And
Yeah, you know, it sounds like it'd be like it would never happen, but it totally does.
I mean, I as a piercer, even like I expect consent before anything. So like, say you come in with your daughter's ears to get pierced at 5 years old, which is becoming a really cool trend, and I think it's very important.
Yeah,
that
they're
people
coming to
understand.
tattoo shops
to get there.
there's actual
We're-
shops.
We have to do bloodborne pathogens. We're trained in what we're doing. We're going to cause the least amount of trauma in your child. But even at that point, if you do want to get your daughter or your son's ears pierced, I want to hear it from your child, because consent is super important. Like these are traumatic things that can happen.
From like both parties, you know.
Exactly. Well, the parents, yes, and then the child as well, more than
More
anything else.
importantly.
I had the most amazing 5-year-old come in the other day to get her ears pierced. She came with her mother or father, and I told her, all right, cool, we're going to pierce your ears. And me, from my years of experience, I've learned that if you see the child in your parents' lap, in their parents' lap, they feel a little more secure to get things done. So I'm like, whose lap do you want to sit in? Let's sit down. She's in her father's lap. We go there. I get everything set up. I try not to show her the needles or anything, because me, from every experience I had before, it's like, don't show them the needles, don't show them the equipment. That kind of freak them out.
They'll start imagining it going through their skin, and they're like,
And it just gets scary. And sometimes even being in a tattoo shop is pretty intimidating.
dude, hearing that noise, that's how I get hyped. I'll sit there, it's just like, bzzz.
That and the smell of green soap. But so I go to do the first piercing, right? And I do this piercing on her. I get clamp her ear, do the piercing, and I'm like done. I'm like, all right, before I pierce you, squeeze your dad's hand, we'll be good. Does it? Rock star girl. All of a sudden, I'm like, all right, let's do your other. She's like, wait. Can I see everything that you did? So she wanted to see the needle. She wanted to see the jewelry. It's when you have people that are open for that conversation and understand that, and even this is as small as children, like having her parents respect to her, like it just makes the whole experience better for everyone.
Well, even after that first one, she probably thought like, that wasn't bad at all. Can I see what you're doing? Like, what's up?
Yeah.
You know?
She was a curious mind. That girl's gonna go somewhere. I don't remember her name, but I remember her smile, and like she's gonna be somewhere cool. And like that was the inquisitive. Like that's the thing is like I think nowadays tattoo shops have changed from the intimidation that they were before to like this open idea of like being a part of like your community, your society, I should say. I mean, we have kids in our shop all the time. Not always the funnest thing to deal with, but you know.
And like, if anybody's listening to this and you're thinking about bringing your kid to the tattoo shop, just please don't do it.
Yeah, please don't do it.
Like, we're cool about it, but like, in my experience, I had a lady, I tattooed her recently. She was super cool. She brought in for some reason, her sitter dropped out. And she had her appointment, and she wanted to come get it, so I was just talking to her, and I was like, well, 9 times out of 10, kids act out in the tattoo shop. It's like something about how it's like they're not supposed to do stuff makes them kind of go crazy, and they start doing stuff like touching my trash can, touching the bench.
Putting
that
their
they're
hand in their
sitting
mouth
on.
after that.
Yeah, where they're just like, I'm like, okay, don't, like, please stop
Probably
touching
'cause-
things you're not
probably
supposed
it's
to
like a
touch, and
taboo-
don't
it's like a taboo
cross-contaminate my
space.
shop, and,
Well, I mean,
it's like a taboo space, and maybe they like, cause like you see like the coolness of tattoos and how it's portrayed in shows, because like, especially in kids' cartoons, like the bad guy or the cool guy has always got like some like heart with mom or something, like, and like
I think that it's like,
it's like
acting out is like a normal thing.
yeah, because kids do that. Like,
And in reality,
like,
I feel like we're all
confident.
like sticks in the mud, and it's like, don't touch any of my shit. This is how I want it to be done.
Like,
You
as
know?
kids start feeling confident and curious, and they're looking at shit. And,
I mean, and you can't
know.
blame the kids for that. I mean, they're kids.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing is,
Yeah.
I don't hate the kids that are brought in there or anything like that. But
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
sometimes
it's
the
just a
parents
thing.
just let them
Yeah.
run wild. Maybe I had this lady come in one time. This is when I was maybe like my first or second year tattooing, and I was a lot more timid to. I don't know. Express to my clients. I didn't know how to necessarily speak to them in a way that made sense to me, where I wasn't sounding like an asshole, and I was putting my foot down, basically, So this lady comes in. There's also this like language barrier. Like, she doesn't speak very good English, so it's like this whole thing. She brings in like her tiny children. I've got one that's like in my trash can, one that's like running and hitting the bench, and I'm trying to tattoo her, and I'm like, I can't even do these. I'm like, these kids probably know what no means, but like, am I supposed to be like, no, yelling at this child?
Yeah.
It's totally weird. I've never done it again. But this lady recently, she was like, I understand, and I was being cool with her. I was like, we can try. We can try with your kid here. And if it's cool, it's cool. We'll put on some like cartoons, like Adventure Time or whatever, and like see if that's chill. And she was actually really good. Not the 1%, you know, the 1 out of the 10.
Trust in your ability to understand that you can control your kids, and they're probably going to be sitting down for like 3-4 hours at a time.
Yeah.
So either bring them something to watch or things like that. But like, there are certain taboos you shouldn't do in a tattoo shop. Bringing kids is definitely one of them, because I will tell you there are some outlandish conversations being said in those booths. Which by every right is possible, that you might not exactly want your 3 to 7 or 8 or 10-year-old.
And you have no
like
control over
nobody's
stopping either.
typically, you know, I feel like typically not a lot of people working in shops are going to be sensitive to that, because it's like you're bringing them in here, you know what I mean?
I mean, I've had friends push to try and like just say the most outlandish thing possible when they've had people over. Obviously not the most professional thing to do, but at the same time, they're like, we're in a place where you're supposed to be 18 years or older and deal with one way or another.
You're in the spam. I mean, like, bring your kid to a bar. If the guy next to you is saying, like, fuck over and over again, I mean, you can't stop him.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, most of the part, we're not like trying to be that kind of crazy out there too. Like, we respect things here or there.
Well, because you don't want the money to walk out the door either.
No.
You know what I mean? It's like, I'm not just going to outwardly kick you out because you have a kid. I'm going to put up with it. But if it's really not worth the money to put up with it,
I've
I'm
known
going to...
shop owners who would do that. They'd just be like, fuck no. And it's up to them, you know? It depends on where you're going. But there are more family-friendly shops now than there ever have been.
Yeah.
It's more acceptable now for you to... People who are working to be cool with it than there ever has been before.
And like, I think it's good to have that kind of exposure for your child.
Yeah, I think it's
at some
cool.
point in time, it kind of like there's a lot of go backs and forths of having children in a tattoo shop. If your children are well behaved, hey, it's a great experience. If your children are causing a bad experience for all the other people around you, that's something you take out. It's like when you take your kid to a restaurant. Sometimes a baby's gonna cry. Sometimes you got to walk to the car with your baby. It's just things they do. But I mean, everyone, you know, at the end of the day, we want to give you an amazing experience.
Yeah.
And that means
At least
every
me and
person.
Julian do.
Yeah. I mean, everyone that walks through our door, we hope to be like, provide you with the things best to make you comfortable with what you're getting, but also feel comfortable being there and feeling like that's the best thing you can have. I don't know. I'm sure you've heard this before, but one of the biggest things, it's a quote. It's from an artist who talks about, I would rather get worked on by an artist who has good like people skills than by the most amazing artists, because it's not just about the art, it's about the experience.
Man, I talk about this shit all the time. I'm like,
I think that was you. I think it was you. I've heard this from
I fucking talk about this all the time because it's like there's so many great tattooers, and it's easy to book with them if you're patient. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, why would I give my money to somebody who's an asshole to me?
Yeah.
Why would I help pay the bills of somebody who I don't respect and who doesn't clearly respect me?
Yeah.
I think about that, you know, and I have pieces on me where I'm like, oh yeah, I love this piece, but I don't think I'd ever get tattooed by that guy again. Ever. I mean, just because it's like, nah, because there's so many great tattooers. And there's so many people that you can vibe with, and I think that's really important when you're working with somebody, especially if you're getting like big pieces, like you want to get your Medusa, you know? It's like, if you can vibe with that person and you know you're going to have multiple sessions and you're going to be chilling a lot, then it's way easier than if you're just getting tattooed by somebody that, I don't know, is kind of a dick.
I mean, and that's the other thing
like,
too is
lack of better.
a dick or just weird or creepy.
Kind of weird or
creepy
yeah,
is the worst,
or just like,
honestly.
you know, you're not having a good time, and it should be fun. Like it's painful and
It's an experience.
it's an
yeah,
experience.
I made it like it's a mental
and-
thing, you
and
know?
It should. I think it should be a good one.
I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've heard about other creepy experiences one way or another.
Yeah.
Like just from being part of like the body piercing aspect of the tattoo industry, we get a lot of weirdos. Like into really, and I don't say weirdos like because I'm a strange person. I've done some really strange things. I've done human suspension. I've done scarification on myself. Like I'm a very big person that if I'm gonna do it to you, I want to know what it feels like first. And that's just a respect to my clientele. But like there are certain things that can just kind of like
I mean, you should know your game.
Yeah, where it's
That
like,
makes sense.
oh dang it, I'm working with a total fucking weirdo.
go that this is so
and
strange.
it's like you're
yeah.
gonna do it. You're gonna like pierce him, or you're gonna tattoo him, and like
Well, or it's a mutual respect thing. First of all, you should feel respected by your artist, and you should respect your artist. And like, if your artist is creepy or weird or doing something that just doesn't make you feel right, like like I said, it's an experience. It's an intimate exchange. Us,
Yeah,
like for
totally.
me, honestly, like piercing is almost a ritual.
Yeah.
Like I feel a high, I feel a power from doing it, which is really interesting, you know, because I don't.
Yeah.
I do consider myself spiritually, but the act of doing that in that process is an experience that is, unless you've done it or gone through it yourself, you can't really explain really easily, honestly. And so, like, I think, like I said, respect. Like, hopefully your tattoo artist isn't being creepy to you, or your piercer isn't being creepy to you, asking you strange questions, just leaning a little too close.
My clients will do that shit too. There's been, and not a lot, and the longer I tattoo and the more that I'm doing it all and like living it, it's like if I don't vibe, if you fucking somehow, and I feel like I'm very patient, and I feel like I get along with a lot of people. So if it's like, if I can't fucking vibe with you, I'm gonna probably tell you I'm not interested in tattooing you, and I'll be that straightforward. It's like, I'm not interested in this. I had a guy, I did like the line art for his piece, and he got really creepy and like kept blowing my phone up. Oh man.
Oh, I remember that one.
It was so weird, man. It made me feel uncomfortable, like stalkery. Like he was gonna show up wherever I lived and try and like take my skin. Yeah.
Man, is
You would have made a really nice lamp, though. I just want to say
Right?
that.
Very cool looking one.
Did this happen when you still worked at the deli by chance? I remember you talking about something.
Yeah.
'Cause
That fucking guy, man.
You were coming to work like,
and I
you were
was
just
like
"Dude,
telling
this
you, I was
guy-"
like reading you the text.
Yeah.
That guy, like, I don't fuck with that. And it's like, the money's not worth it. You were already so difficult to work with, and I was still willing to work with you. And then it was like, you made me feel very weird.
And
I had to block his number, and I told him, I was like, I'm not interested in tattooing you anymore. You're gonna have to go find yourself somebody else. And then just had to block him because he like texted me 3 more times after that, and I was like, no. And it was like the same message. It was like, thank you, like multiple texts. And I was like, you're freaking me out. I think you're a murderer. I don't know.
I think it's that's one of the benefits of being a contracted artist is you get to decide whether or not you get to. But
yeah, and I feel like that's finally like took a long time for me that to blossom in me.
Yeah.
I think to kind of take charge, and the way I describe it is like it's totally a partnership when you're tattooing somebody. You're changing their life totally, and it's like this whole thing. But it's like I'm captain of this ship. You know what I mean? Nobody else. The client is not captain of the ship. It's totally me.
Yeah.
So I'm calling the shots. You're going to have to be respectful. And some people come in, they don't understand, especially like, young people, and they're drunk and they're excited.
We
or
are not a
spring breakers
Starbucks.
or whatever. Yeah. And it's like, no.
Yeah.
Like,
Can just pull up number
sit,
one
sit
tattoo,
down
please.
and like, let me give you a good tattoo. Just let me do my job well for you, and we can have a good time. But like, don't get too comfortable. Don't fucking touch my shit.
don't touch me.
Don't text me a lot. All weird personal shit that I don't understand.
So actually, so how did you guys get started in y'all's art forms of just body altering art?
Mel, would you would you go first, Mel?
Pottery.
Body
Bodily.
modifications.
Bottomy.
Bodilies. Let the bodies hit the floor.
Let the bodies hit the floor and get tattooed on the floor. Sanitarily.
Everybody get on the floor.
Hey, if it's hand tap, it is on the floor most of the time. Just saying. Tyra
I
as
did.
well.
I actually did see that. I got this when I went to Star, Texas, the revival or whatever in Austin, and they had a guy that was using a stick that was like 6 feet long. He's just jabbing this guy in the butt on the
Very
ground.
cool.
I mean, you gotta understand, man. If that guy's like sticking just this low right here, he's not giving himself all the muscle he can use to make that really get in there. Because, man, I've looked into that just because it's about needles and stabbing. Like, you gotta find the best technique because that shit'll wear you out. Wear you the fuck out.
I've never thought of it like that, Julian.
Well, no, that's the biggest. It's like the longer the crowbar, the easier it is to pry open.
Y'all can't see him, but Julian's doing this like wave thing with his body. He's doing the motion.
He's like, you got to get in there with that needle.
You got to. I've thought about this a lot.
That's
It's one of the things.
And it's a process, though. I mean, if you want it done correctly, because this guy was getting like a Bengal tiger on his leg.
I saw one dude using his
tight.
foot to like obviously he had gloved his foot, but he was using his foot to jab the needle in while he was doing the actual what would you call stick and poke for anyone who's
It's
trying to
actually
figure
pretty
out what we're
rad.
talking
It's kind of like an old sewing machine with the foot crank. You're just in there and that's actually kind of
Man, I got to meet the guy who tattoos with his feet because he doesn't have any arms.
That's rad.
I don't remember his name. I could look it up though. Lyle Tuttle. I was there at the Houston Tattoo Extravaganza, and Lyle got tattooed by him. I have pictures of it.
Oh, that's all
It's
right.
fucking crazy.
Tattooed by
no
who?
arms. The no arms guy. I'm gonna look his name up.
Oh, I thought you said for
no.
a second you tattooed him. I was like, that's rad.
No, I wish.
All right, so I'll tell you how I got started into the.
Oh
initial
yes,
worship stuff.
I did ask.
I feel like we're all going in like different directions, but I'm cool with this. It's so much fun.
Absolutely.
But the first time I ever got pierced was when I was 21. So I was a late bloomer about that. I got both my earlobes pierced. 22 got my tongue pierced. 22 got my first tattoo here in Galveston at a place called Tattoo Corner. It's owned by Greg, was done by a dude named Barrett. He did.
Are you from Galveston originally?
I'm born and raised. Born and raised in Galveston. I'm a BOI.
Boy.
Graduated Ball High School 2006. What up?
There you go.
Nah, not cool. Cool enough for me.
Yeah.
Cool.
yeah. Sorry.
Steph graduated there as well.
Oh, it's okay. Not all of us are perfect. But no, so I moved to. I took a buddy. It was a really interesting. It's a very long story. I'm going to concise. I had a buddy of mine that needed to get away from Galveston and he needed to move all of his things up to Washington.
Ooh.
I'm talking about Washington State, not Washington, D.C., Tacoma specifically. I told him, like, hey, man, I got a truck. Let's load this up and let's make this trip. So here I am with my buddy who's getting away from a bunch of shit that affected him here in Galveston all the way up to Tacoma. Ended up staying up there for about a week with his friends, who one of them was a tattoo artist named Gibbon Redinger. He's actually done one of my sleeves, part of Mike. So shout out to Gibbon Redinger. Follow him on Instagram and shit. He's a cool ass dude. He did my first real significant tattoo to me because I could see it every day. It was my Red Riding Hood from the Apocalypse.
Oh, nice.
So it was really cool, really fun. And when I was up there, I loved it so much I ended up staying up there once I went up the first trip. So I stayed up there for a year from that just road trip to take my friend off. While I was there, him and another friend of him decided to open up a tattoo shop. And when they opened up their tattoo shop, he's like, we need a piercer. My wife, Diana Dearman, she's my actual mentor, taught me everything that I knew.
Rad.
They're like, we will let her teach you how to pierce. And that's when it started. It was 2012. They're like, hey, we have a position for you. We have a place for you to help us kind of build and grow from. We like you. We like your idea on art. Let's go from there. And that was my first, it was about 3 months that I spent there learning how to pierce. And that was some of the most intense training I had to do.
It's awesome.
While learning. It was good. It was much respect and love to them because of them, I was introduced into this industry. And because of them, I've been able to live my experiences for the last seven years.
Yeah.
Doing this and meeting the people that I've met and feeling like I get to do something with my artistic mind. Like, it gives me peace. It's really nice. And it's really glad to have... I still talk to them, honestly. He's got like a really cool... He still tattoos. She does a bunch of stuff. They're in Colorado right now doing a bunch of fun things. And their kids have gotten so huge since when I saw them. I remember their 2-year-old. I went cross-country with their 2-year-old. Like, they were probably one of the biggest influences to get me to where I'm at now. And I can't even show enough respect to those people that I've met. But, I've also had a few other mentors and a few other people that have come up since then. But those are probably my first influences.
That's
Mel,
awesome.
What about...
Okay, so by the way, that tattoo artist that literally has no arms and tattoos with his feet is Brian Tagalog, and y'all should check his shit out. At least, watch a video.
Brian Tagalog?
He ain't got no arms. Tattoos with his feet, like a monkey man. It's
No manos.
very fucking cool. He
That's
wears
awesome.
gloves on his feet.
Are they like designed like foot latex? Like
No, I think he just
No.
actually wears regular gloves.
Yeah, and they just put them on there. It's fucking cool.
That's super awesome.
Yeah.
So, how'd you get started?
Dom should get a tattoo. Her sister
hold on.
Dominique hates feet, so I think it'd be hilarious if she got a tattoo
I
done
had
by
to
him.
chill with Dom's foot.
Yeah, she's been on her foot for a minute. So,
Oh, salud.
salute.
Taking a short break, everyone.
Getting on my foot.
Yes. We're drinking Sailor Jerry, by the way, because we thought it was really fitting.
Jerry. Sailor Jelly. That's probably my last one though.
So he says.
Yeah,
So
there's
I
still
said.
some over there.
But it wasn't.
Okay.
You guys don't know. You can't see my face. It's very sour right now.
So where'd you start off, Mel?
Okay, so I decided I wanted to tattoo. My story is a little different from a lot of other people's that I've talked to who got into tattooing, and it makes more sense to all my homies and stuff who got offered apprenticeships. People were looking out for them, and they're like, "Oh, you got talent. I want you to work for me or whatever." And I don't know. I decided I wanted to tattoo when I was 16, and I was still in high school, and I was just like, "Okay, that's what I want to do with my life." I just decided, and I ended up dropping out. And I got my GED. I went out to Oregon for a month and just did that whole thing and fucking was trying to figure out what I was going to go to school for, you know? So it was, I was like, okay, I want to go for art, you know? I was like 17 at the time. I was like, I want to go for art because I'm going to be a tattooer one day and I want to be a great tattooer. So started college, was like working, doing that thing. And I remember when I was 17, I tried to get an apprenticeship. And I was in Tennessee at the time, and the laws out there are very strenuous. They're like very difficult. So much red tape, so much money. You have to be a licensed. It's so much different from Texas. Texas laws barely exist for tattooing. That's why there's so many shitty shops everywhere. But like out here, the shop needs a license. They need a tattoo or shop license, and then it can function. You can hire any motherfucker from anywhere. You can hire anybody fresh out of jail who's taught themselves how to tattoo in jail, and
like
you can just
ballpoint pens and shit.
yeah, and you can be like, okay, cool, you're a new artist.
They tattoo you with a gun. They're gonna gun you down. They're gonna go bang bang. Make sure that it's the baddest black and gray with single needle possible.
But
I want a skull.
right, I want a fucking snake.
Why is this an iron eagle all of a sudden? Is this a phoenix? What's going on?
But in Tennessee, it's really difficult. So it's like every tattooer in the tattoo shop has to be a licensed tattoo artist through the state of Tennessee. You have to be a licensed tattoo apprentice through the state, which is like classes and money, and it's all this whole thing. And you can only take these classes in one part of the state. So if all of the state, you have to drive however far away it is to this one place and just do all your shit. If you're going to apprentice somebody, you have to be a licensed tattoo apprentice in that state for over 3 years, even if you've been tattooing for 10 or 20 years.
You have to get a permit to be an apprentice, and then you have to get your permit to be an artist.
Yeah.
Wow. And then you have to find a shop
and you have to
that
be
wants
signed
to do
off.
that.
So legally in Tennessee, if you're a licensed tattoo apprentice, you at least have to apprentice for a year. Then you have to get signed off by a licensed tattoo artist who's been tattooing in the state for 3 years. But if they choose to not do that, then you don't get your license, which is really good. I think that part of it's good. It just, there's a lot of red tape, and it would suck for even like me who's been tattooing now for so long, because it's like it'd be a lot of money and bullshit, you know.
I mean, if you're going to be apprenticing someone, then you have to have them pay that kind of fee in general.
Oh no, I did.
Like, if I was going to do it, that's what I was going to do.
The only cool thing is like your hepatitis B vaccination, they will or whatever, they'll pay for that.
That's
you
cool.
can make your shop pay for it legally, which is kind of tight.
And tax write-offs are very important as an artist.
Yeah.
In general, especially if you are just living as an artist. Super duper.
He brings this up because we're all doing our taxes right now, and it fucking blows.
It sucks so hard.
How many productions can you squeeze out of?
I'm not going to make any more comments about taxes right now. Hope you're not watching.
Hey, man, just go ahead and make a bunch of Goodwill donations. You get those little codes they give you.
Oh, no shit.
And just go write all that off.
So you were in Tennessee for the
I was in Tennessee, and I was 17. It was my first time I went to talk to somebody about
Are you
an
from
apprenticeship.
Tennessee?
No, originally, but I lived there from when I was 13 to before I moved here to Galveston.
Oh, word.
So I go into the shop, and it's like, I'm 17, and I understand already that I can't be an apprentice legally. But I'm like, maybe if they let me, I can be in the environment, and I can start learning now. You know, it was really important to me to do that. So I go in there, and the guy's kind of cool. I meet everybody in the shop. It's cool. And then it gets totally fucking weird, right? So it's like this old biker dude owns this place. It's right by one of the only like clubs and venues in this tiny little weird fucking town that I lived in. And so, he's showing me around. We walk into his station, and it's right in the front, and it has a huge window to the street where people are walking by. And there's literally pictures of him fucking people on his workbench in that room.
Like the
plastered all over the walls.
The tattoo artist?
Yeah. So I'm like 17.
Whoa.
I'm like very uncomfortable. And at this point, I'd been tattooed before unprofessionally, I was trying to get in the culture and like get in the lifestyle.
So that's like your introduction to the game. It's like, what the hell is this? Like,
yeah, so it's like meeting that man was really weird, and he was like saying weird shit like you better know before you come back in here, and he's like, he invited me to come back. I could come if I wanted to and draw and just see if I vibed and shit. He was like, I look at everybody. I've looked at you. And he was referring to me as like a female. It was just really, it made me so uncomfortable. And I thought I was being brave at the time because I was like so young, and I was shooting for the stars here and trying to like do it.
Yeah.
And I meet like somebody like that. Now I could handle that shit better, you know, because I've been doing. I'll be like, well, fuck you, dude. Like you're silly, and I could probably still work for that creepy motherfucker, and it'd be fine, and he wouldn't make me feel creeped out. But as like a kid, it was like this whole thing.
It's too much, especially just trying to get in the game. It's like,
yeah.
I mean,
so I just like went to school. I started college. I couldn't, you know, and I turned 18, started getting more tattooed, and I really wanted to apprentice at this shop in this town called Smyrna. It was called Zenful Art because I went in there and they were really nice to me, which I thought was really cool because everybody else scared the shit out of me. I just was like so scared to talk to anyone. And they ended up apprenticing me. I hit them up about it and they couldn't take me on. And a year later, she called me. I hadn't spoken to this lady in a year and she called me. And like between all that time, like I'm going to school and I'm working 2 jobs and I'm like painting and I'm drawing all the time because I'm like buying tattoo magazines and like looking at those tattoos and trying to replicate them on paper because I'm like, this is what it is. I need to be good at these things, you know? Just trying to like push myself. But I got my apprenticeship.
Training in the gym.
I guess I was 21 when I got my apprenticeship. And then it was really crazy. That story's nuts too. But I ended up finishing my apprenticeship actually here in Galveston. I got in this crazy car wreck, and I ended up having to move out here with my mom, and finished it out here at a place called Asylum with the dudes who own the shop that we're working at now.
Back in the day.
Is that place still on the seawall?
It is still there. Mm-hmm. It is existed.
Like none of us are really affiliated with it anymore, and I don't know any of the tattooers that are over there.
You should always go and check your art. Sorry, you should always go and check any shop that you go to personally. Yeah. Don't take anyone's opinion about it. Yeah. When you walk into that shop, when you go look at something that they've created and had there for a while, you will be able to tell whether or not that shop is worth it. Man. And I think that's the respect that any artist would give anybody else.
And also, I think you need to understand that, like, you know, and I say this, and I think it sounds really crass, but it makes sense to me. It's like, we are glorified con men. Mm-hmm. We're selling you something that you don't need, and a lot of tattooers are very good at it, even though they're not quality. Yeah. And that's the whole thing with, like, you know, oh, Tennessee is so harsh on their laws and Texas isn't. But that means that you have kind of this lower grade of quality of work that's coming out. So it's like you might go in and vibe with somebody and they're selling you everything they got. They're like charming the shit out of you. And you go and then all of a sudden you have a giant, poorly done koi fish tattoo on your leg that has been done that has been done by that same artist 2, 3, 4 times because he uses the same image, you know. It's just impersonal. I don't know. This is from my experience.
I feel like,
and everybody's different. You know, not everybody's going to experience that same thing, but
no, for sure. I mean, that's valid points on that, but I also feel like there's a certain amount of intelligence and beauty that your customer should know that they expect. Yeah. And the hardest thing is, like you said, is a lot of people can be con artists. Not just tattoo artists, but just like in our industry, there are a lot of con artists. Let's talk about Dagos for a minute and talk about con artists for a second about that. But, I mean, there are a lot of people that will try and just up-talk you to do something that maybe they're not comfortable with doing, but just want to make that money. And that's where it comes down to, are you dealing with a tattooer or a tattoo artist? Honestly, because an artist wants to leave things on your skin that's always going to be there and memorable. Where a tattooist is like, I just need to make my $50 so I can do whatever I got to do.
So I can go drink tonight or something.
I mean, there's a lot. Well,
and I feel like that goes hand in hand though. Like, some days I'm gonna take that fucking tattoo that I don't give a shit about, and it's gonna be great. But it's just because I want that $50.
But I also know that when you do that $50 tattoo, you're going to make that $50 tattoo look as good as you can. It's not like, hey, let me just do this and get to the next 50. Like, you respect your work, thing, you know?
Like, different kinds of people, and that's the whole thing. It's like being a tattooer, you see, and you know, and piercing as well. Of course, piercing. Like working in shops and stuff, it's like you see all walks of life. Like every kind of person comes in. You're going to meet like all kinds of people, and some of them are amazing, and some of them change your life, and some of them literally fucking suck. They're cretins of the earth. You're going to meet all in between, like all different like classes of people, like everyone, you know.
If you've ever lived a day in your life for the last whatever time you've been alive, you've come across someone that has made you been like, Well, this is a strange experience to say the least.
Yeah.
To be the kindest about that one way or another. Man, I will tell you, there are some things that people want to do that I don't want to be a part of. Like, I got to tell you, man, I don't want to be a part of your fetish. Like, I've had people come in as a piercer.
I think that's fair though, because it's like I'm about to do something that's like doing that, but to a sense where it's just like certain things, but like if they come out and tell you what kind of pleasures you're getting at, I mean, like, Devin, someone ever told you like I want you to pierce me this way?
Plenty of people have told me a lot of things you can't even. So like, one of the biggest things is like, I don't want to be a part of your fetish. And the reason I bring this up is because I have a couple that not too long ago made this happen to me. And I've had couples come through to get tattooed about this. I don't want to be a part of your fetish. I am about doing the most constructive, creative, and capable procedure that we can do. Mm-hmm. And I understand that when I do this, you do have a bodily reaction to it, which is okay. The body reacts differently every time of day. But when you bring your boyfriend, when you bring a couple of people to be a part of this crowd, to create those things, when I have to pierce you while someone else is touching you or doing something to you, this becomes a fetish. And I don't want to do it for my regular prices.
Yeah,
like,
right.
I don't want to be included in your desires.
Yeah.
Unless I've been taken into consideration about what play I have to do to make this happen. I had a couple,
or even if you just feel comfortable at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's in general. Like, the more comfortable you feel, the better the work's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
I had a couple come in, and it was a gentleman and a lady. The gentleman got a Jacob's ladder.
What is that?
So Jacob's ladder is when you have the penis, and you create multiple piercings down the shaft to do so. This gentleman was large enough to do 3 piercings.
Jeez.
Yeah, he was a well endowed gentleman. Praise Jesus for him. Whatever goes on with that. So we did that. We had that created. I had to measure him out, make sure it all went out well. This is the day. After that, we went and pierced his girl's vertical hood. Okay. VHC vertical hood. It's right above the clitoris. This is that. As I was piercing this lady, I cleaned up, made sure everything was good, measured out, and I'm getting ready to pierce. And I take my clamps and I set my clamps on. I have my set of clamps in one hand, and I have my other hand spreading what needs to be done to be able to create this. Mm-hmm. And then before I actually do the piercing, out of nowhere, a third hand comes up and touches her inner thigh. And she looks at me, and she looks at that hand, and she's like, "What the fuck?" and pulls away. Her boyfriend took it upon himself to comfort her by trying to touch her during the procedure. And that is not exactly the best thing you should do. Like, if I understand you guys have like a certain connection, so to say, but take the people in the room that aren't you into consideration.
Absolutely.
Like, there are people I've had that have orgasmed as I pierce them. Like, the body does really weird things under pressure, pain, and time. It can be really strange sometimes what it does. I've literally just pierced someone's earlobes and had them piss my chair before.
Holy shit!
Like, it's super simple. They've also had people like one time I had Zach.
Jeez.
Zach tattooed one girl on her tramp stamp, and she vomited all over her food that day, and it was pozole.
Pozole.
Threw up on his shoes.
Yeah, just all over his shit. It was the smell that contained it. It was like stringy all over the floor. Like, the body acts in really strange ways.
I mean that's actually
put through trauma.
Well, that's actually how acupuncture works. I mean, there's spots on your face that react to your back. Like there's different things like that. There's different pressure points that act different places. And everybody's body is different. So, you hit a certain spot, even if it was a couple millimeters to the left of where you pierce, if you happen to hit that, it's might trigger something. Mm-hmm. That's a real thing.
Oh, no, it's a real, and then, like, hopefully when you're going through that, you understand that is a possibility happening. Like I said, I've been piercing for 6 years. I've done at least 300 piercings a year. Mm-hmm. Now that's over 1,800 piercings. I have seen people vomit. I've seen people shit their pants. I have seen people bleed for fucking 30, 40 minutes.
Man, this is why I'm never trying to learn how to pierce.
Yeah. I mean...
Ever.
I've had people, like I said, orgasm. I've had people drool. I've had people faint. Like, I've had people in there that weren't even getting pierced faint. Like
Yeah.
it's an extreme. You're putting through your body through trauma. Like every time, the one thing I say to anyone who's ever getting pierced by me is, you are all of a sudden on a roller coaster ride.
Yeah.
You are not only on a roller coaster ride, you are going, like, you are in Disney World at Splash Mountain at the beginning of the line. I don't know if probably a few people will get that reference.
Wait, you're talking about the whole
Not even just like you're on the ride. No, like you're waiting to get up to that ride, and you're watching everyone come down at the end of the ride.
It's just buildings,
And it's
you're getting closer.
building, yeah. As soon as you get right there, like and this is like, it's like, so you're in the ride. You're signing your paperwork.
Uh-huh.
All right. You're right there at the front watching everyone jump down. You're getting your belly button clean. You're getting your nipples clean. You're getting everything sanitized, whatever. It's getting cleaned up. All right. You're right there inside the chair. I've got the clamps on. All right. You're at the top of the mountain. I tell you to breathe in. Tell you to breathe out. You're going straight down that ride, and everything else is done after that. Oh. And it's that kind of experience, man. Sometimes it's just like it'll put that kind of pressure on you. And like a lot of people are estranged out from being pierced over tattooed. I honestly think for the most part,
I feel like I'm one of those people.
Mm-hmm. Getting tattooed is way easier than getting pierced.
It's totally a different.
It's experience.
God, it's just different procedure. Period.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, going back on what y'all were saying about people needing to check out their artists before, I think, like, make sure they feel right, especially, with their situation, because obviously, like we are talking about, where, like, if you don't feel comfortable, you're not going to do it. But also from the person that's getting it, make sure, like, this is something they want to do from this person. Because, when I lived in Austin, we were, like, like, we had some drinks. It just happened to be Friday the 13th, and I'm like, I'm gonna go get one. But like, but the alcohol kind of shielded from, because like my dad was always telling me, he's just like, don't just go get some random ass tattoo. Like, get some good shit. If if you want to spend money on it.
Disagree. Sometimes you gotta sometimes you gotta get some random ass tattoos.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, he meant that more of like, like, look at it, see if it's something you want to do. If they can draw the thing you want to do, look at their art. Go through their book. See. Because I did that, because I signed it up. I was like, man, I want this. I forget what it was, but I was like, I want this thing. And he's like, okay. And then while he's like, I'll start sketching, but I started going through his book, because I queued something up before I even looked through his book to see how he draws. Yeah, and especially like as like I draw myself, so like I like to see what's going on. Mm-hmm. I started going through his book, and I was like, oh my god, like, because like the worst thing I saw was he did this. I don't know if y'all remember, like, Green Day had that album with the heart grenade.
Yeah.
But he did the heart grenade, but it was like a basic heart just with like some basic cross lines, like no kind of depth, but like it looked really bad.
Yeah,
and I was like,
and that's like his portfolio. He's showing you the best he's
well,
got.
well, then like also like in the picture, he used the flash that was super bright, so the colors all fucked up and super black and foggy and glary. And I was like,
tattoos is such a hard fucking thing.
And I was like, dude,
same with piercings.
So
like
hard to get lined up.
Well, I actually had to pull something I still kind of feel shitty for, but like I had to get out of there. And we just had some drinks, so I freaked out. So like I answered a fake phone call on my phone. I was like, hey, oh, what?
Gotta go.
No, what? We gotta go, man. I'm sorry. and we dipped, and like my friends that were with me, my cousin Beacon, shout out Beacon, and Jacob Lozano there with me. And I was like, man, we gotta go, and I dip out, and we leave. And we're like halfway walking back to the car, and they were like, what was that? And I was like, oh man, dude, that guy's art sucked. I had to get out of there. And he was like,
this is crazy.
Yeah. And then they were like, what? Like, we thought something just happened. And I was like, nah, man, I just had to bounce. But I couldn't tell y'all what I was doing.
I'm so really good actor.
I just had to bounce, bro.
I got to keep face and just...
Yeah.
Oh, man. I feel like it's been so long since I've went and just got walked into a shop and got a tattoo. Me and my friend Clark have matching little chicken feet on our feet.
I did notice the chicken feet. Those are pretty rad.
I like it. But it's a Friday the 13th tattoo, and we're getting tattooed by our friend. And the waiting list was super long because she was the only tattooer they were doing the special. So we show up, and she's busy, so we're like, let's just go to the bar. Yeah.
Shout out Erica.
Erica Gypsy Soul.
Shout out to Erica Gypsy
Soul.
Yeah,
Erica.
she's my homie.
Come work with us. Just saying.
So we're like a bunch of hooligans up in that motherfucker, and we're like, all right, let's just go to one of these random bars on S, So we just go and just kind of get drunk, come back to the shop at the time we think that it's our time, and then we just go get a 6-pack and bring it back. It's like the last experience I had going into a shop just to get a little banger.
It's real quick.
Party time. It's also the first time I've ever been drunk getting a tattoo, though, too. I was just feeling myself that day.
I like how you
cool.
say first time that I've ever been drunk.
It was the first time.
The first time, not the last time.
I mean, I feel like I've got like a sleeve, a half sleeve, a bunch of pieces on my legs for not drinking anything those other times. I feel okay. But you know what? It hurt more. For it to be so small. Ankle bone, man. Fuck my life.
All right, so on one of the topics we were talking about things you probably shouldn't do when you come into a tattoo shop.
Don't take a bath in our fucking bathroom. Yeah, please don't bring your hobo ass into our bathroom and bathe yourself in there and then go chill in the fucking
Leave
lobby.
water all over the counter and shit.
Oh, everywhere, man.
And then it smells like wet dog. But
it was like
no
everywhere.
dog.
And then he didn't even leave. He just kept chilling and I went to find fucking the boss and shit. And I was just like, so there's this like fucking water everywhere in the bathroom. I don't know what's going on. I looked under the sink to see if there was a fucking leak because I was like, what's going on? I was like tattooing and busy.
Look, it's
But
okay.
he's just an asshole. So please don't do that.
Yeah, don't come clean yourself off inside our shop. We try and keep it clean.
Like I'm about to say, and at least if you did something like that and it's in secret and they don't know anyway, clean it up.
Look, we're not that far away from
it's
a gas
like you're
station.
walking 10 feet from the bathroom. We're gonna know that it's you.
Take a
It's
shower
not
before
gonna
you come
be
over.
anybody else.
Though we have tattoos, it does not mean we are unintelligent. Just saying.
Or dirty.
Or disgusting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like yeah, tattoos. I'm still a fucking person.
Don't come in
I
hammered.
guess what are other things that you should
Don't
do?
come in hammered and leaned out and pilled out that you don't understand where you're at for a minute. Like this.
I've heard a couple of homies and just people I've heard say that where they're like, yeah, man, I took a bar or two before I got a tattoo, and I was like,
Ugh.
Look, part of it is the experience. You get to experience how you want. That's you. But don't be so unmanageable.
Yeah.
Like, I've had to deal with people who are getting pierced. They've done like 6 shots before they saw me.
Yeah,
it's like,
it
look, if I
sucks.
have to hold your head up to try and accomplish what I need to do right now, this is not what I was looking forward to for my day.
Man, that's such a real thing. Like, and I just told
Hey,
the
look.
story of when I drank and went and got tattooed. But it was also like my friend, it's a little different. We're just like homies and stuff. But if you come into the shop and you're fucking too
Obliterated.
drunk, not even like, if you have a beer, 2 beers, a drink or something, you're gonna be okay.
Look, even
you're
a
gonna
good
be
buzz
like a
is
normal person to speak to.
fine.
But like if you've had a little too many drinks, all drunk people come into the shop. They act the exact same. They all touch everything. They're fickle with their design the entire time.
And they can't control the volume of their voice.
Yeah, they're yelling at you. It's crazy. Everybody acts the same. It's just like, I don't know, fucking.
Like, look, don't come in obliterated. Don't come. If you've ever gotten tattooed and you don't remember that you got tattooed, I think you might have been too drunk.
Yeah. I just feel like if you're going to be that drunk, then I, as your tattooer, you should be cool with me being on that same level.
Yeah, I know, exactly.
Like I feel like if you're going to be drunk, then I should be drunk. And if you're down for that, then like I'm down for that too. Just for the record. You want to be drunk, get tattooed, bring in some booze and we'll just get drunk
Yeah, let's
together.
all get drunk. Yeah, like, if you
I'm still going to charge you accordingly though. It's just how it works, but
Yeah, but no, if you come in and you're drinking beers and you want to bring me a beer, all right, cool. We're going to be on this level. Don't come get pierced while you're drunk, please, because you bleed way too much. Everyone bleeds way too much.
blood's all thinned out.
Oh, it's ridiculous. I'm sitting there for like 15 minutes holding your nose, your ear, your eyebrow, whatever it is, and having to grab multiple napkins
So many napkins.
and hope that you do not pass out from the fact that I have to grab multiple napkins soaked in red. Not a fun time for me or you.
soaked in red.
Soaked in red.
I mean, it's definitely a real thing though.
Oh, no. I mean, like, for me, it's a little more different than getting tattooed, but at the same time, if you take too many drugs while getting tattooed, you're going to push ink out.
Suck.
It's going to suck. It's not going to be fun.
suck for everyone. Like there's this one chick who came in recently, and no names involved or anything. I tattooed her. Multiple people at the shop have tattooed her, and she, for some reason, she's chill. She's all right. She talks to you prior to her tattoo. You know what she's gonna get and everything. Comes in to get it and is like fucking just maybe sipping lean the whole time, just like maybe on pills.
That's mega
and she
barred.
sits
This is Houston.
terribly.
Sip on leans, Houston.
She sits
Horrible.
so bad. Like, and I even, I felt real great about this choice. I'm like tattooing her arm, and it's just like the line work. Okay, it's not even like a lot of line work, And she's like, I think I need to take a break, and I'm like, I think we should keep going. She said it all like, I think I'm hurting, and I was like, no, man, we're gonna keep on going. We can't take a break now. It's not time. I get all perky because I'm
push them like that
you're not
sometimes,
gonna
man.
trick me.
You got this.
This is not break time. Break time is like 45 minutes from now when we're done with the black. Oh, then it's like, cool, go outside. She takes really long breaks because she's all fucked up. She's like outside for like 35 minutes. I had to go outside and look at her and be like, hey, it's me.
Two
like,
hands.
waving. Like,
Two
what's
hands
up,
just
dude?
jumping.
Come on. Like, can we finish this tattoo that should take an hour?
Yeah. Get some like air traffic.
Right?
Lights
And I
and
don't want
stuff.
to charge people for like that fucking break time. I don't want to do that. I think that's unfair. But like if you're going to stand out in the fucking, if I have to go chase you down because I'm not trying to charge you fucking $400 because you want to take a million fucking long ass breaks, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
Exactly.
It's like just do it. I feel like almost being sober is almost better. You can really soak into like it's like almost a meditation.
You can take it better.
Absolutely.
You can totally take
That
Where
it
it's
better.
like
that was definitely
if you can
something I was
like
gonna
calm
say.
yourself, you can sit for a really long time.
When I got this one from Chuck, I partially fell asleep for a second because whenever I get
wish I could do
tattooed,
that.
I'll take like a black hoodie or something and not wear it, but I'll just put it over my face. So eventually, I know my arm hurts, but I don't know exactly where it's at. So it's just something I kind of just adjust to, and I just start thinking about other shit. And then one time I just kind of popped up and like he's like, "Are you good?" Like Chuck was like, "You good?" And I was like, "What?" Like I fell asleep a little bit.
I really wish I could sleep through any tattoo I've ever had. That would be the greatest thing in the world. Like if I would tell everyone in the world, I just slept through this tattoo. Like you are one of the special few. I pay homage to you. I wish I could do that.
Man, when I got my Chuck tattoo, we were at an expo, and I took it really bad. I didn't like cry or freak out or anything, but I was like straight up like my hair was all of a sudden a mess. I'm like sleeves over my face. When I come up, my makeup's all smeared. I'm like a mess. He's like, Mel, you need to stop acting like that. Nobody's gonna want to be tattooed by me. I was like, fuck you, dude. This fucking hurts so much.
Dude, Chuck's sass like throughout the tattoo just makes it enjoyable.
Oh man.
Well, that's the experience right there, man.
Well, the whole
that's
thing.
the experience.
Well, because
right
he
there.
was when I got mine from him, I drove down here from Austin, and he was still at 61st Street or where he was at, or Stewart.
Chano's.
Chano's
tattoo shop.
Yeah, China shop. But it was funny because like the whole time I was getting tattooed, if I wasn't like kind of spacing out like in the blackness of the hood, like him and Chana were just talking shit to each other back and forth. And it was so funny,
I bet that was
bro.
fun.
It was like a talk show. They were just like doing that.
Hey, wait.
He's like, man, like blah blah blah.
So what was your first tattoo? I don't think we ever.
Oh, my
came
first
across
tattoo
that.
was this
that
by
big ass one.
Yeah, it
big-ass
was by
piece.
Reyes. This is the black line. I got the black line as the first tattoo. I got it as my present for graduating high school, which is what every father should get their son for graduating high school.
It's kind of tight.
All right.
Yeah.
So you as a customer,
Mm-hmm.
you as someone who goes to get tattooed by people, what do you look for whenever you go into a shop?
Man,
what is it that comes across you?
What I really like to look for is an artist's originality, honestly. Mainly because that's funny. Mainly originality, just because they have their different styles, and I kind of like getting original pieces, like completely original pieces, like both of the pieces I got. I just gave them a couple ideas, and it was like, just make something. Like here's a couple things, but just whatever comes to your head on this, just make
like
it.
the best kind of client.
Like I want the original, like this
Well,
one.
I mean, like you said,
Yeah.
hey, I like your work. Please do one of your things that you do that I
Yeah,
like.
but also like I like this stuff, so this is kind of
Yeah.
like where I'm at. Look,
Yeah.
Because I'm detailed but vague, but because you can get a lot. Because like
Are
when
you
I told
vaguely detailed?
Well, when I told Chuck with this one, I was just like, I want Mother Nature with antlers surrounded by monster plants. That's all I said.
It's fucking cool. God damn it, Devlin, that's very cool.
Then I came to town. I didn't even see it. He was just like, "Can I send you a picture?" And I'm like, "No."
Well, that
I was
monster-
like, I just want to see it. because I know I'm gonna like it because I choose the artist because I see their original work and I'm just like I know I'm gonna like what you make because I know it's mine.
I'm just saying that's a nod to Nintendo right there.
Oh,
and I'm about that.
Yeah, nod to Nintendo and also Little Shop of Horrors.
Oh, Little Shop of Horrors.
Me see more. Big thing.
Little shop of horrors,
Yeah.
little shop.
Yeah, and then that's right. Yeah, well then also shout out to Reyes. She's in Maryland. But like with this one, like I scuba dive.
Did you get tattooed by her in Maryland?
No, it's just she came to Austin, the revival, Star of Texas.
Yeah.
But for this one, she like because I was just like I scuba dove and I'm terrified of the ocean even though I scuba dive. Like it's one of my fears. Ooh. But I was just like I've always like like octopus, my favorite sushi. I'm terrified of the ocean. And like I kind of like skulls, so I was just like a real kind of like oceany death scene. But I went for like octopus, skulls, and fire. And she was like, and water. And she was just like, that's it. And I'm just like, just make something awesome. Please be so rad. like because I love watching the artist freestyle.
Man, I think that after you like put up this podcast, you should post a picture of your tattoo.
Yeah,
So
I think we should post a picture of all of our tattoos.
Yeah,
all of our first tattoos.
Yeah, right.
But yours is covered.
Is actually cool.
I know. I got mine done
what was
professionally.
Your first tattoo?
So my first tattoo is I got a.
I think you should show them too. It's actually
I
good.
will show you in a second because no one's gonna listen, see, whatever. But my first tattoo I got was a compass rose done on the center of my back between my shoulder blades. It was done by a dude named Barrett. Like I said, at Tattoo Corner.
Yeah.
First done there, and I drew some really just random runes around it. So like I felt like
kind of like Celtic kind of runes, or
yeah, and it was like a mesh of Celtic and a few other things one way or another. Yeah, no, I slightly spilled that. That was my fault.
Slightly spilled the shot.
So we have to do this now.
Yes.
Sorry. Did you already take yours?
Salud. I didn't get one this round, but I tapped out last round.
Do you want one this round?
You should do one in this round.
Just a little bit.
I love this. Yes.
Like half of a half.
Friendship.
Like a taster. Hey, only
do a little bit more so you can
only
drink
because
more.
I have such a long drive home down the hall.
Oh yeah.
Y'all's house is fucking dark as shit.
This house gets eerie as hell at night.
I'm hallway touching everything because I can't see, and I go through a doorway and I'm like, "Is this the fucking bathroom?" And I'm saying it out loud. I'm looking around. There's hallways to all sides.
Yep, it definitely can be scary. Like definitely around 3 o'clock. Ooh, so weirdly enough, so the first time. So also shout out to our special guest. We have Stephanie Bass.
What up, Stephanie?
My wonderful partner here, and then we got Jaron Hall. Is your last name?
That's correct.
I know your name.
Correct.
Yeah.
Welcome.
So friends, yeah, but so the first time Stephanie and I actually hung out here, we watched Twilight Zone, and then she fell asleep. But at like 3 a.m, some gunshots went off outside.
Oh shit!
And-
Fucking Galveston.
No, it's
Welcome
funny.
to Galveston. That's a welcome.
But then what?
It's fine.
But then what else happened? So like, so we
Gunshots,
start like talking and kind of dating for a little bit, and then we're like, hey, let's watch the Twilight Zone. Like when we first hung out, and we watched it. And some gunshots went off again that same night. I was like, don't fucking watch Twilight Zone in this house.
What episode is it? I'm down.
Just random ones.
Do you know they are making a new Twilight Zone, right?
I already saw some clips of some episodes.
It's who's the writer for it? I remember he's someone important. There's an important person.
Is he important though?
Yes,
Right?
he is.
Like no, about since it's modern Twilight Zone, they better come with it because even the old episodes.
Dude, and Black Mirror was
Yeah.
basically like the Twilight Zone.
Yeah,
fucking tight.
like the just in the original Twilight Zone, just like some of the concepts they had for that time, I was like, this is some
Nutty.
deep shit.
Yeah, man. I feel like
Especially
it
when it
was
was,
like
like, you
creative
thought you
as
knew what
fuck
was
because they
going on,
had
and
no
then it's like a
other
real twist at
fucking
the
shit
end,
to like
Yep.
soak off of or something.
Well, because like what first got me into the Twilight Zone, which is funny. So like Futurama is my favorite cartoon, hands down,
Good.
just for me. But it's whenever they're making fun of the
Good
like
news, everybody.
where they make fun of the episode where this man is by himself in the world and he loves to read, and he's got all books to himself forever, but then his glasses break.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I was like, they're making fun of it, and I was like, man. And then my dad was like, oh yeah, that's a Twilight Zone episode, and then that's the first episode I ever watched. But when you see the whole episode, I'm like, wow, that sucks.
Dude.
But I was like, but like for that time though, like when that episode was made, I was like, that's a crazy concept for a lot of people. Like, and also some of the different ones were just
that's-
real trippy.
That's the cursed wish right there. You ever heard of the cursed wish?
No.
So the cursed wish, if you make a wish, no matter what wish you make, there's going to be the worst outcome afterwards. So, like, say I'm a millionaire, but you're a paraplegic now. So it's like no matter, and it's also one of those
So you just wanted to be by yourself on the world forever and read your books, but your glasses
are broken. Yeah, like you are the last man alive, but you can't read any of the content that's existing around you.
Sad.
You have an endless amount of cake, but you're diabetic. Shit. I mean, it's that idea. Is like. But I also think that's like a statue of being, of how you exist. It's like even in the greatest thing, you find the worst thing possible about it. I think that's how you do that, you know? Like, because you can always look at the most positive part of life.
Yeah.
Or you can always look at the thing that takes away the positivity to you, you know? And like, that's part of, I think that's part of that story. Like, that's an old story.
Right? What is the Twilight Zone? Fucking human nature, man?
Yeah.
It's even at the end of it, as hard as it is trying to teach you something one way or another. And I think that's any story that's passed on, any story that exists and continues on is teaching you something or creating something for you to follow one way or another.
Well, and also make the best of that situation, because now that we're talking about Twilight Zone, it takes me back to that tattoo artist talking about you lose your arms, but I'm still going to tattoo badass.
That's his existence.
His feet.
That's his existence. He can't exist outside of just doing that. Congrats to that dude. Fucking, like, I don't know if I would have been able to do that, but to see someone be able to be capable to do that.
Well, it was actually a guy right now that's a pro skater that lost his leg, so he skates with his hands. But this dude will, like, drop in on, like, somehow drops in, you know, and drops in, you know, just grabbing onto the tails with his hands, and he'll, like, hit the fun box. The fun box is like a little pyramid, just so y'all know. But he'll jump up and like flip the board with his hands and like land on like a board slide. But he's just like, but you know, like he's got like the very tops of his thighs. But that's it. But he just,
wow, man.
But he goes and skates pro competitions. Like there's this competition called Tampa Pro, and there's the Tampa Am for like, you know, they have an amateur competition, you know, for ones, you know, they're trying to get into big competitions, and then they got the Tampa Pro where like sponsored pros come and skate the same course. But he gets out there like during the jams where, you know, they have a bunch of people skating, and he's just shredding, man. And like, but it's just making the best out of your situation. I think that's really cool. Rather than making an excuse.
Losing a limb would be, man. If you like, were a
part of you?
shredder, you know.
Yeah.
If you're like, okay, I fucking lost my limb, and then you went on to just like, fucking push yourself. I almost feel like that would be like a hand in hand kind of thing, you know.
Yeah.
If you saw it like that, it would be like, oh fuck this, like I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna do it like fucking better or whatever.
Yeah.
Just because you've like went through losing a limb, which I feel like is really hard.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what it's like. I feel like it's probably crazy.
Well, it's super cool. So you know,
like oh shit,
I'm
like
about to say-
phantom limb shit.
Yeah, I was about to say shout out
Like
Clint from Hooked on Acupuncture. He's actually my neighbor.
No way.
Yeah.
I've got acupuncture from him.
Yeah, we have an abandoned house in between us, so I just consider him my next door neighbor because his house doesn't count.
Cool.
But he he lives down there. But like it's super cool because not only did he base the name of his like business off of that, like he's awesome.
Yeah,
at it,
he's
you know?
fucking awesome. I totally trust him
Yeah.
to do that. I've totally gone to get acupuncture multiple times.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck yeah, help me.
Yeah, it's really cool shit, and he's a great guy. I've only talked to him, and you know, I also shout out to Robert Coons because Robert Coons is like they're real good friends. So he's over here, like he's like outside pretty often. I'll be outside coming home from work, and he's just there.
Oh, tight.
Or I'll see his band. Also, shout out to La Scare, the surf competition coming up.
Oh, tight. We're playing it.
Yeah, India Tigers playing.
I want to go outside. It's cool.
At Jimmy's on the pier.
man,
Is that 82nd
It's
or 81st?
so fun.
86?
86 and Seawall.
It's past 85th.
You know, if you keep going down, the giant pier with a big restaurant gift shop on it.
Jamila Pierce.
We played it last year, and it's so fun. It's like a good time of year because the weather's finally getting nice.
Yeah.
And everybody's surfing and having fun, and they're like they do vendors all the way out on the fucking pier. It's really fun.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna have an artist booth out there this year.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and then
Fucking awesome. awesome.
And then also, man, Steph, you weren't there, but man, dude, last year, like India Tiger's set was so sick because the wind was blowing.
Yeah.
Mel's hair looked all epic. Y'all had
There's
the lights.
and my hair was blonde, so like my hair looked like fucking flames.
Well, and it was on that part of
on
the pier.
fire.
You know, like when you go out of the back of the restaurant, it dips down, but then it goes back
Yeah.
up to the pier. So it was real tight, and the crowd was real
Everybody
tight,
was
and
all
everybody was
squished in.
going. Oh, it was great.
This year, apparently, they're going to put a stage at the end of the pier.
Head, like way
Oh.
out in the fish.
Out in the water.
So
Yeah,
cool.
like-
Nobody drop anything,
I
please.
know.
For real.
Like they need to put some mesh on that shit
Like
for.
chicken
Yeah, right.
wires.
Like, bro, what if it's like wind blows and the pedals?
Gear or something,
It's like, you know, what the fuck?
Man.
Think about these things. Please plan, y'all. Plan for the wind and all that shit.
ready for the
Do we have
things.
to? We should probably hit him up and be like, block that shit off so we don't lose any gear.
Because, like, what if there's like a windstorm and the waves are just smashing into that bitch? You know, I don't know. Just watch out.
If there's a fucking windstorm, I'm still gonna want to be out there. Maybe.
Badass.
Right? It's
Nobody
gonna,
get electrocuted.
bro, it's gonna kill, man.
Right.
Like Prince, dude. 2000, I think it's 2007 Super Bowl. Prince has the best performance ever. I don't even really fuck with football, but so they
You
said.
fuck with
so,
Prince, though.
Yeah, I fuck with Prince.
I
Heavy.
mean, it's Prince.
Well,
Yeah.
he was in Atlanta. I think it was in
He
Atlanta,
knows
I
what
believe.
doves
But
cry.
it was gonna rain. It was gonna rain
Right,
super
please.
hard, and they were just like, oh shit, because everybody know Prince has his preferences and he can he could complain,
Mm-hmm.
but they were like, oh shit, well Prince, it's gonna rain. Do you still want to perform? And he's just like, let it rain harder. And I was
God
like,
damn
oh.
it! Like that's
No,
fucking
dude, no,
cool.
go-
Did he say let it purple rain harder?
No, I was about to say go to YouTube, everyone, and check out the Purple Rain Prince performance at the Super Bowl. And dude, he plays Purple Rain in the rain,
That's
and
fucking
then he actually
badass.
cries during that performance, and it's so wonderful.
This world was not good enough for Prince.
Never.
Dude,
or-
man, fuck fentanyl. All right, anybody on that shit, or you got family members on that shit, get
Okay,
them off of
so
that shit.
interesting conversation I had with an EMT basic, or no, sorry, with a paramedic. I had a conversation with a paramedic. It's like, look, fentanyl's not that bad unless you mix it with something else.
There it is.
So do
There it is.
not
And it's
buy fentanyl from people that are not corporate.
Man,
Which is
but
shitty.
let's be honest, like it's Prince. He's probably doing whatever the fuck he wants to do.
It's Prince. He can do whatever the
Yeah.
fuck he wants to do.
True.
They're probably just like it was fentanyl. Huh.
Look at
They're not like
This
he was-
is one of the
he was,
couple of
like,
drugs we
they're
can
probably
blame
not,
it
They're
on.
probably not just like he was really fucked up at the time. They're not like being real about it. Maybe
Which
I
drug
don't
do
know.
we want to pick to represent Prince? This one right here.
right. Yeah.
That's the drug.
Well, I mean,
that
they
we
started
shouldn't do
just
anymore.
naming everybody. They're like, oh, Tom Petty and Prince and like,
Now you're just saying names.
yeah,
Kurt
everybody's not-
Cobain. And
Yeah.
fucking-
It was actually fentanyl.
It was
It's
all
like,
fentanyl.
Everything's just blamed.
Before it was created.
It's like wars or fentanyl. You know, like people just throw it out there. Like it's ridiculous, but I don't know. Like those artists,
Okay.
those artists should really be respected, man. Because especially Prince, especially man. Like that dude was seriously worked, man.
He's been around for generations.
He was like a shredder guitar player. A shredder he performed so fucking well.
Have you seen him play his
on top
solo
of it, it's
over
like
Tom Petty? It's
Everything he
hilarious.
did was just like the peak of what he could do.
He's always
and it was
working.
like effortlessly, like almost like a serpent move.
He
you know?
was
It's, like,
he was a master at his art.
There's still like over 150
He
unreleased
creates
songs apparently.
So many shows.
Well, he would like throw parties at his house and stuff. Or so Patrick, our boy, shout out Patrick Wheeler. He did a project, and the Payment Ryan did a project in the past where with the horn section from Prince's band, and they would talk about Prince would throw his parties, but he'd still be working at the parties. So like he'd be throwing a party. He's like, everyone party here. He'd go into a studio and work, and then he'd come out and they'd record something at the party. Like they'd set up a show at the party and record it.
wowzer.
And then he'd go back and keep working while everybody's just partying. And like the horn, they were just like, man, this is so weird.
I mean, some people
But it's
need that.
awesome.
I
Yeah.
mean, like you need that kind
But
of.
it's super cool.
Yeah, you need that.
Fed off the energy.
He was,
The energy,
able to
the
do
energy
that
of other
for
people,
sure.
yeah.
Like he was just like, you know what? Everybody's got a party vibe. I got the money to make this party awesome regardless,
I mean, but
but at the same time, he feeds off that energy, no matter what it is. Like,
I felt like that's the vibe he wanted to live in.
Absolutely.
So he's like, if this is the vibe I live in. This is the vibe I need to create around me. I have the money to create, so or I have the possibility to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Then let me give everyone that good time, so I can write that good time music. Like there are certain people who's like, just give me a taste,
Yeah.
and then go have to create after that. You know, like everyone has their own.
I would have
creative
loved to
process.
go to a Prince party.
Oh, dude, I'm sure it
I
was
bet it
awesome.
would be really cool.
I mean, like, you have to, like, be careful. I'm sure there was cocaine everywhere.
Everywhere.
But
You know, I would. Oh, never mind.
you know what? If there's a...
You wouldn't.
You know...
Would you not do cocaine with Prince?
I've never,
I'm just
I've
saying.
never done
who
any
wouldn't?
cocaine, but like if I was at Prince's party,
You would have to do cocaine. Yeah.
I would,
Like
I'd be
if
"Damn
Prince
it."
busted down in the middle of the table, like, all right, everybody.
You got to do
If you
cocaine.
wanna stay
Who
at this
would
party,
say
you gotta go
no?
in.
You know,
Yeah, there's not really like
it's
a...
un-American.
You know,
It's
I'd actually probably just blow it off the table, just like blow out of my nose.
No, you wouldn't do that to Prince. You should
silliest
know.
thing I've ever
Because you
heard.
because you would ruin the rest of the blow after that. I'm just not as someone who might not have that partaken one thing into there. But if
man.
Prince is like,
Human centipede style nose fucking cocaine line blow, nostril to nostril.
Well, you know the thing is, like,
it's Prince, it's Prince. You can't say no.
I actually guess it depends on if you received the straw, if you took the straw,
I would keep that straw forever.
It's over.
I would sell that straw on eBay.
You better do it.
I'd be like, Amazon Prime, Prince's straw.
Prince's
How much, buddy?
How just auction
Starting bid
eBay
$300. Yeah,
eBay.
$300, $1,000, $1,500.
just to start. Man, I'm not greedy. I mean, I'm
Prince
greedy
put
enough.
this shit in his nose, $6,000. Who wants it? It's got his DNA on it.
You've been listening to the Artists in Depth podcast, motivating creative minds through artistic exploration. If you like what you're hearing, please be sure to give us a rating or a positive review. And if you'd like to get in touch with us, you can email us at vonpatrickarts@gmail.com. That is VONPATRICK@gmail.com. Thank you very much, and we look forward to talking to you.